Okay, continuing on with my Sunken Arena project, I've got to backtrack a little bit. Seems I made a little mistake when I'm making the arched walls. Not a little mistake, I mean they're fine as they are. Matter of fact, they're fantastic as models. One thing I love to do is try to unwrap things before I actually get to the, as I do things along the path of the project, because it just makes no sense to model everything and then unwrap everything. Why not unwrap as you go? That being said, one of the things that's going to be a pain in the tuchus to get this thing to work is this arch pathway in the UVs. And so there's a couple things I want to do that are a little bit different. I want to restructure the geometry to where it makes more sense. So I want to actually have a keystone instead of having them meet in the middle. So I need to change the number of polygons I put in here. So I'm going to rebuild this entire wall again. Won't take but a minute. And I got to do one for the small wall as well as the big wall because the fighting arena has no entry point. That ain't going to work. Can't have fights with no fighters unless you just dump them in like you did in Conan. But I'm not doing that. All right, so we're going to start with the base wall again. I'm going to hit Control V to make a copy. We're going to do win. I want to do S for, let's do S for small, win for window, 0, 0. We'll make it a new color. Haven't done yellow yet. That's a really atrocious yellow. Let's make it a nice yellow. Boom, that's a good yellow. Hit okay. Add color, close you, and then we'll go click on it. We don't need that too. Well, sorry, we'll just use that anyway. All right, so we got this baby puke green. Fantastic. All right, and what I want to do here is I want to build an archway that fits inside this space here. It's going to be simple. It's not going to be as ornate as the original one I built the last night, or should I say this morning. But it'll be a similar thing. And what I'm going to do is use splines. And I'm going to use a circle spline to get the basic shape. Kind of find the center of, oh, let's find the right layer. I do that. Put it in the same one here. All right, let's try that again. Circle, and I'll put it in where I think the center of the actual arch will need to be. It's got to be a substantial entry. A little lower. Let's get the human reference here because that will help. Turn on. All right, so it doesn't need to be that tall. Cool. Now, I was talking about having a keystone, and I don't have one in here. Let's see, where should I have the door? There's no keystone right there. It's just a simple thing. It's happening here also. So I'm going to change this up a little bit. Let's change that one and hide that one. There we go. Now, in terms of getting rid of polygon count in a spline, we do that in interpolation. Let's see if I can put that on, like, if I put it on 2, you can see how low poly it is. Now, we're going to put a trim around this thing. So I can actually leave it as this, and this will be fantastic. It has a keystone. It'll actually merge up with the corners a lot more successfully. Everything will weld up beautifully. So let's go ahead and use this. I can even make it just a little less fancy. All right, now we're going to use a rectangle, and we're going to just kind of start with those endpoints. We'll get it lined up here a little cleaner in a second. Convert to a Neville spline, and then we're going to go ahead and attach, right-clicking, attach, and attaching this circle spline. All right, so let's get this edge here. We're just going to line that up right there. Cool. Now, like I said last night, if we delete vertices, all we're doing is making flat tires. What we need to do is we need to actually delete segments. Now, the thing I have a problem with is that I need to add some vertices in here to kind of make things work. And it gets a little worse. I'm going to hide my Houdini input. Where we go? Geometry, spline, yes, okay. Go to vertex. We're going to use refine, not insert. Insert's terrible. Click on insert. I let go, and I still have to place the point somewhere. Just atrocious. I don't understand that whole concept. They should get rid of that button. Refine. So we're going to zoom on here. We're just going to put it right there. It's going to change the shape a little bit, but that's okay. I want that there, and we're going to put one there. And we'll go ahead and match one over there. So now we kind of got points all around. Everything kind of matches. Let's go ahead and just delete those. It's got more of an onion top, but that's okay. We'll fix that real quick. I think we can just go ahead and select vertices and scale and change the pivot to the selection set and just scale down a little bit. I don't know, it's not looking all that fancy. Move down. It's good enough. Part of it's that right there. And so let's close that up so that, there we go. That's starting to look a lot better. Okay, sweet. Now what we need to do is we're going to weld things. One of the things I like to do is to make sure there's a tight fit. I'm going to fuse, and what that does is it actually snaps the vertices into the exact same coordinate, XYZ coordinate system. Because sometimes you have a T-joint and you can't weld all three vertices. You can only weld two with a spline object. Insert, no, hit fuse, there we go. Right click this that. And so let's click that and hit weld, hit that. And so we got two vertices, hit weld. Okay, that's one vertex, that's the actual vertex itself. And so here we are with an arched doorway wall. And so what I need to do now is kind of prep our wall for what's next. So I'm going to use Edit Poly using Connect Tools. Let's go ahead and get the basic frame established. So we'll do 2, we'll split it right on the line and just click the offset. You can always shift the vertices later, but okay. All right, and now what we could do is do the top one. I think actually what I may do is, yeah, we'll do that. Do basically a crossbar and a connect. And we're going to do 1 this time. And we'll offset it. There we go. Just like that. And then we'll need to actually combine all these corner pieces to make them a little look cleaner. My dog's about to drink a lot of water, so just hold tight. Target weld. My dog likes to do this during big times when I'm recording. It's very helpful. And we'll close this up. And the whole point is making a low poly product that will be an effective doorway. And like I said, we will also clean this up in a way that allows us to actually put in a nice little border around the actual archway, so their UVs will be protected or better set up. Excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and delete some polygons. So what I'm doing here is basically setting up my wall to have a landing pad. And this landing pad concept is going to allow me to put this inset in a lot more successfully. So let's go ahead and get this set up in terms of what we need to do now is actually add some definition to our archway. So with that, what we'll use is just an extrude. We'll push it out to where it matches the width of the wall, because it needs to fill in this gap here. And now what I want to do, I'll show you one more thing. So if we have an extrude with an actual cap segment like this one is, it's actually all set up to where it's all contiguous and it's a solid shape. When we extrude, we get a solid geometric object. But if we go into that spline, delete this bottom bar, we're going to get a different shape. We're going to get an actual ribbon. And this is literally what we're after for this particular shape. All right, we're getting close. So now what I'm doing, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to actually change this from yellow. This yellow's too bright. Let's just do blue right now. I'll fix that later. We'll make sure the color coordination is better. What I want to do now is actually chamfer these two vertices to make room for what's happening here. So I do a quick chamfer. Alright, and then we're going to do hit check. Then we'll target weld and clean up our geometry. And then what we'll do is actually throw a symmetry right on top of our doorway, and that'll give us a center point. So let's go ahead and grab some vertices and move them straight down. All right, and we're going to move these straight down, and then I'm going to use the scale tool to get them in position. Cool. All right, now let's go ahead and add that symmetry. Let's go put it right on the axis point. And we actually want that to be in the center of our object. I don't want to change our access point, so we'll just put it right there. I know there's a little bit of alignment, because I know this wasn't in the center, but that's not a big deal. It collapsed too. Now we've got triangles for all of our pieces, a couple quads, but everything's looking good. We can now attach our piece here. I want to grab the borders. And that's the holes that we have right there. I'm going to hold Control and click on the vertex. And I'll convert the selection to the vertex and now vertices. And now I can actually go in here and hit weld. And I bet I can get rid of all of our holes. Don't go too crazy. Okay, now where we have holes, we can check by going back to border and selecting everything, and there's no holes. Now, that is definitely a solid piece of geometry and is not a very sexy looking